Do you ever catch yourself saying something in your head that you'd never say out loud, like, I'm such an idiot, or I always mess things up? They probably think I'm stupid. The funny thing is, we'd never say that to a child we love or grandchild, and yet we say it to ourselves all day long. So stick with me a few minutes, because today I want to talk about the most powerful voice in our life. That's the voice inside our head. Hi there. This is What's Up, Opa, where we try to share a little family wisdom, share some stories, and hopefully a little encouragement to help get you through your day. But I'll tell you, after 68 years on this planet, raising 3 sons, spoiling 6 grandkids, working better part of my life in the nuclear industry, I've learned that it's okay to mess up, but it's what you tell yourself about it. That little voice in your head, that's what makes all the difference. Do you learn from it, or do you beat yourself up over it? It's not what life throws at you that shapes what you become. It's what you tell yourself about it. The story you tell yourself, that's what shapes the kind of person you become. So let's say you mess up at work. You got 2 voices that can talk to you. Version A says, man, I screwed up. I am such a doofus. I'm never going to get this right. People are going to think I'm an idiot. Version B says, okay, I made a mistake. How can I fix this? How can I learn from this? How can I make sure I do better next time? Same event, but 2 different stories. And the story you tell yourself is the one that really goes on to shape who you become, what kind of life you have. Hello there. It is beautiful out here today.
You're not going to get any more of this.
No, we're not. All right, I'll give you an example from my own life. At the end of my career, I was working in the Middle East in Abu Dhabi at a nuclear power project, and they made me the lead maintenance plan writer, something I'd never done before. I had some related experience, that sort of thing. And I had some stumbles getting up to speed. My first thought was, who am I kidding? I'm not cut out for this. This isn't what I was originally hired for. But then I decided to reframe that and say, okay, I messed up. I had a couple stumbles, but I'm learning. I'm getting better every day at this. And tomorrow I'll be a little bit better. I'm going to keep learning from any mistakes that I made. And you know what? I did. But it was the mental shift that made the difference, and everything ended up working out just fine. And that shift didn't just keep me from beating myself up. It made me better at my job. And over time, I realized my career wasn't built on never making mistakes. My career was built on learning from them and moving forward each time. So let me ask you this. What do you think our kids and our grandkids are learning when they hear us talking about ourselves? If I drop a glass in the kitchen and it breaks, I can mumble to myself, oh, you frickin' idiot. Why did you do that? Why are you so dumb? Why are you so clumsy? But instead I can say, whoa, that was clumsy. I guess I better go get a broom and clean this up. The kids hear either one of those 2 conversations. And the one they learn, you punish yourself when you mess up. The other one they learn, you forgive yourself, you fix your mess, and you move on. So they don't just copy what we do, they copy what we hear ourselves say to ourselves. They see and they copy how we treat adversity, how we treat a mess up that we made. Not all that long ago, I was sitting at the kitchen table with my oldest grandson, just doing some drawing. And I don't even remember the specifics, but he was working on something. All of a sudden, he got all frustrated. He said, Opa, I am terrible at this. I can't draw a tree or whatever it was. So I sat down with him and said, buddy, you're not terrible. You're just learning. Let's just go slow and let's see if we can do it a little bit better. And he did. He got himself settled down and, kind of took the pressure off of himself. And yeah, the drawing still wasn't all that great when it was done, but he knew that he was learning. He knew that it was a little bit better and that next time he'd get a little bit better. But more importantly, he learned that you don't beat yourself up over it. You pick yourself up, you move forward, and you get a little better next time. But the real lesson wasn't about the art, it wasn't about the drawing, it was about the story that he tells himself when he messes up, when he realizes he needs to do better. It's the kind of story that he tells himself in those situations. The old Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That's just as true today as it was 2,000 years ago. The world outside us throws us plenty of negativity no matter what we do. So why add to it with our own inner voice? My sister is a pastor, and she said something in one of her sermons a few months ago. I don't remember exactly the context, but it was something to do with, being a little kind to yourself. And she said, think about it when you look in the mirror and you're thinking about yourself. When you look in the mirror, what you're seeing is a person that's created in God's image. You're created in God's image, so you can't be totally worthless. You're created in God's image. So cut yourself a little bit of slack. There's value there. There's value in this person that you see in the mirror. All right, so let me ask you, what voice are you listening to today? The voice in the side of your head that's saying, you're not enough, you're screwing up, you're never going to get it right. Or the voice on the other side of your head, the one, a little angel on that shoulder that's saying, okay, I messed up, but tomorrow's going to be better. Today was better than yesterday. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit better. I'm learning and I'm growing. So here's a challenge for this week. Pay attention to that little voice in your head, the things you tell yourself when things don't go right, when you mess up. If you catch yourself with version A, that little negative voice, stop yourself and ask yourself, all right, what would version B say? What's a positive way to look at this? And look at it this way. If that voice is telling you something that you wouldn't tell your child or grandchild with the love you have for them, why beat yourself up worse than that? You should treat yourself with the same love and forgiveness that you would treat your child or your grandchild. So the stories we tell ourselves don't just shape ourselves. They shape the little ones, the grandkids, the people around us that love us, that are watching us and learning from us, whether we realize it or not. So do them and yourself a favor. Tell yourself a better story. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself another chance. Give yourself the same grace that you would give your grandkids or your children or a loved one. Because when you do, you don't just change the way you're living and the way the grandkids live when they see your example. That's a change that can ripple down through generations as these grandkids grow up and have their own grandkids, and they remember bits and pieces of the little lessons that they learned from you. So thanks for joining me today. If any of this hit home, or you've got your own little stories about the little voices in your head, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button and join us here in our little corner of the world. We're trying to spread a little kindness and love and a little practical advice for getting through each day. So this is Opa signing off and wishing you, wherever you are and whenever you're watching this, that you're having a great day. Thanks.